This is just insane. Look at all of the Koenigsegg's, the Bugattis, the Ferraris. They are all here at Supercar Owners Circle, and very shortly they're going to be going head-to-head for some hypercar drag races here on the runway.
Nevada, Highway 160. Early morning silence over the desert. At first glance, it's just an empty stretch of road cutting through nowhere. But today this road is the center of the hypercar world. A single run is about to begin. No spectators, no noise, just engineering, timing, and one question hanging in the air. What happens when perfection meets the open road? Bugatti vs Koenigsegg. You have to understand the stakes to feel the weight of what happened on Highway 160. For 7 years, the production car top speed record had belonged to Bugatti. The Veyron Supersport, that mid-2010 Volkswagen Group monument to engineering excess, had hit 267.86 miles per hour in a two-way average at Erlesien, Germany.
Germany's Volkswagen says it will work together with U.S. auto startup Rivian to develop software for its cars. Volkswagen is set to invest up to $5 billion into a joint venture with Rivian. It aims to develop auto software faster.
It was the kind of number that became a brand identity. Bugatti was the fastest, period. That was the story they told, the story their billion-dollar marketing machine reinforced. The story their customers paid $2.5 million to be a part of. In late 2016, Bugatti revealed the Chiron, the Veyron successor. Sleeker, more powerful, officially capable of more than 261 miles per hour in its standard production form. The implication was clear. Whatever the Chiron's real ceiling turned out to be, Bugatti was once again going to own the speed crown. Koenigsegg had other plans. By the morning of November 4, 2017, the Swedish team had been preparing for months. They had picked Highway 160 between Las Vegas and Pahrump for one reason. It was straight. It was relatively flat, and it could be closed for a public road run that would meet the standards needed for a recognized record. They had negotiated with Nevada authorities. They had positioned escort vehicles. They had set up GPS-verified timing equipment. And then Nicholas Lilja pointed the Jera RS down the road. The car launched with the kind of explosive acceleration that has to be felt to be believed. The 5.0-liter twin-turbo V8 behind the cabin spinning past 7,000 revenimot. The Swedish-built body cutting through the desert air, the pavement disappearing under the tires faster than the human eye can process. The peak speed on one pass came in at over 284 miles per hour. The return run posted just over 271. Wind, road slope, and atmospheric variance all factored in. Exactly the reason the two-way average exists. When the run was complete, the numbers came back staggering. A two-way average of 277.87 miles per hour. A peak speed of 284.55 miles per hour on one of the passes. The new world record for a production car. The hypercar world stopped. This wasn't a track. This wasn't a 21-kilometer private VW Group facility. This was an actual American highway. Closed, yes, but a real road. The kind of road a real car has to drive on. And Koenigsegg, a company you could fit inside a single Bugatti factory wing, had just done what Bugatti had refused to try. Bugatti had no immediate answer. They couldn't. The Chiron, in its standard configuration, was electronically limited to 261 miles per hour for tire safety reasons. To beat Koenigsegg, they would need to build something else entirely. They would need to admit, by their actions, that a 250-person Swedish team had publicly forced the world's most prestigious hypercar manufacturer into a corner. And in the hypercar world, where image is everything, that corner was a humiliation. The Swedish team celebrated quietly. Christian von Koenigsegg, the company's founder, gave restrained interviews. No trash talk, no taunting. Just the numbers presented like a surgeon presenting an X-ray. The press did the rest. Bugatti, after a long internal silence, would eventually respond. But the response, when it came, would create a controversy almost as embarrassing as the loss itself. Bugatti 300 mph Controversy, August 2019. Erlesien, Germany.
This is Erlesien, Volkswagen's maximum security test track in Germany. When it was built during the Cold War, it was deliberately sited in a no-fly zone near the East German border.
This is the Volkswagen Group's private 21-kilometer test track, with a 9-kilometer straight that exists for one specific reason: to let cars from VW brands reach speeds that no public road on Earth would allow. It is a place no civilian ever sees, a place where every record attempt happens far from public scrutiny. That morning, a pre-production Bugatti Chiron Supersport 300 Plus with Le Mans veteran Andy Wallace at the wheel accelerated down the long straight. The radar caught the peak. The data was logged. The official number, when Bugatti announced it days later, was 304.77 miles per hour. For the first time, a production car had broken 300 miles per hour. It should have been Bugatti's victory lap. The headlines should have been clean. The marketing should have been unstoppable. Instead, the celebration came with an asterisk that almost nobody at Bugatti wanted to talk about. Here is what they did not put in the press release in big letters. It was a one-way run, the internationally recognized standard for a production car top speed record. The standard Koenigsegg, followed on Highway 160, requires a two-way average. You run in one direction. You turn around. You run back. You average the two. This protocol exists for a reason. Wind, road slope, atmospheric conditions, all of these can flatter a single pass. Two-way averaging eliminates that bias. Bugatti's 304.77 miles per hour was a single pass, in one direction, on their owner's private track. To put this in context, Andy Wallace's car ran on a perfectly conditioned 9-kilometer straight that you and I will never set foot on. The atmospheric conditions were controlled. The car was a pre-production prototype with long-tail bodywork specifically optimized for that single run. Any one of these factors on its own could be defended as part of normal record-setting practice. Combined, they made the achievement difficult to compare directly with what Koenigsegg had done on a public Nevada highway. And there was more. Within days of the run, Bugatti announced something stranger still. They were exiting the production car top-speed race. They had, they said, proven what was possible. The pursuit of pure speed was no longer where their focus would be. To the hypercar community, this read like exactly what it was, a retreat. Koenigsegg's response was characteristically calm. Christian von Koenigsegg did not attack Bugatti. He didn't have to. He just pointed out the obvious. That's not how a production car record is set under the recognized international standard. That a one-way run on a private track, by definition, was not the same achievement as a two-way run on a public road. That if Bugatti wanted to truly claim the record, they could do it the right way, the way everyone else had to. They never did. To this day, the official Guinness World Record for production car top speed
got 3 electrical motors producing 700 horsepower. It's got a combustion engine producing 1100 horsepower. Still, the weight of the car is 1428 kilos dry weight.
Set under standardized two-way conditions, does not list Bugatti's 304.77 miles per hour as the holder. Bugatti chose to walk away from that standard rather than meet it. The 300 mph press conference was, in the eyes of many enthusiasts, the most expensive footnote in modern hypercar history. $1 billion of engineering. A number you could put on a poster, and an asterisk that the entire industry quietly understood. For Koenigsegg, it was the second time in 2 years they had made the world's most prestigious hypercar brand look small. And the third was already in motion. Hypercar Summer War. By autumn 2017, just weeks before the Highway 160 run, Bugatti had pulled off something else extraordinary. They had announced a different kind of record, the 0-400 km/h test. The premise was simple: stand still, accelerate to 400 km/h, brake back to 0. Measure how long the entire cycle takes. It is, in many ways, a purer test than top speed because it involves acceleration, ultimate velocity, and stopping power, all in one combined number. In October 2017, Bugatti rolled out the Chiron. They handed the keys to Juan Pablo Montoya, the Formula One and IndyCar legend. He ran the test. The result came back at 41.96 seconds. Bugatti called it a world record. It lasted less than a month. By late 2017, Koenigsegg posted their own run. Same test, same protocol, same equipment. They used an Agera RS. Their driver was again Nicholas Lilia. The Koenigsegg result was 36.44 seconds. Read that again. Bugatti, with one of the greatest racing drivers of his generation behind the wheel, posted 41.96. Koenigsegg, with their factory Swedish test driver, beat that number by more than 5 full seconds. In a test that measures something as raw as acceleration and braking, that is not a marginal victory. That is a separation. The hypercar world was stunned. Bugatti had not just lost. They had lost in a way that suggested the gap was structural. That Koenigsegg's engineering was, by some real measure, ahead. But Koenigsegg was not done. In 2019, they returned with the Regera, a different car, a hybrid, with their patented direct-drive transmission. They ran the same 0-400 test. The result was 31.49 seconds, another 5 seconds faster than the Agera RS, another 10 seconds faster than Bugatti's original number. 3 records, all in 2 years, all won by Koenigsegg. Think about what that means in the context of resources. Bugatti at the time was a subsidiary of the Volkswagen Group, with access to billions in engineering capital, every test facility in Germany, every supplier relationship a luxury OEM could dream of. Koenigsegg was operating out of an old Swedish airfield in Ängelholm with a few hundred employees and a corporate structure smaller than a single Volkswagen department. And in a head-to-head, repeatable, measurable test, one of the cleanest tests in all of automotive performance, the small Swedish team kept winning. It was no longer a fluke, it was a pattern, and the budget gap made the pattern even more striking. By industry estimates, Bugatti's annual R&D spend during that period was many multiples of Koenigsegg's entire company revenue. Bugatti had access to VW Group test facilities, supplier networks, and engineering departments that dwarfed anything Koenigsegg could build internally. And yet in the cleanest possible head-to-head measurement of acceleration and braking, Koenigsegg won. Twice, by margins that were not even close. Now zoom out. By the end of 2019, in a span of barely 2 years, Koenigsegg had publicly beaten Bugatti at the production car top speed record on a public road, the 0-400 test twice, and had stood untouched while Bugatti's own 304 miles per hour record attempt collapsed under its own asterisk. That is not a rivalry anymore. That is one company quietly running circles around another, in front of the entire hypercar industry, again and again. And the next chapter Koenigsegg wrote was not even a head-to-head test. It was something far more deliberate. Koenigsegg Speed Dominance March 2020. The world was shutting down. The Geneva International Motor Show, the single biggest stage in the hypercar industry.
The Geneva Motor Show is one of the most important in Europe. Visitors are drawn to the event for a first glimpse of new concept cars and of models that
was cancelled just days before opening because of the COVID-19 outbreak. Manufacturers scrambled. Multi-million-dollar unveilings collapsed overnight. For most brands, it was chaos. But in Sweden, Christian von Koenigsegg saw an opportunity. Instead of waiting for the industry to recover, Koenigsegg pivoted immediately to a global virtual reveal. No massive convention center, no dramatic stage lights, just a live stream watched around the world by enthusiasts trapped at home during lockdowns. And at the center of it stood a car with a name that sounded less like a model and more like a declaration. The Koenigsegg Jesco Absolute. Not the standard Jesco, not the track-focused version with giant wings and maximum downforce. Christian von Koenigsegg explained it clearly. The Absolute was engineered for one purpose above all others: ultimate top speed. Every detail reflected that obsession. The enormous rear wing from the standard Jesco was removed completely. The body was reshaped for minimum drag. Rear fins were extended for stability at extreme velocity. Airflow was redesigned across the entire chassis. Koenigsegg claimed a drag coefficient of just 0.278, astonishing for a hypercar producing up to 1/600 horsepower on E85 fuel. Beneath the carbon fiber shell sat Koenigsegg's twin-turbocharged 5.0-liter V8, paired to the revolutionary 9-speed light-speed transmission, capable of near-instant gear changes unlike anything else in production at the time. Then came the number that shook the hypercar world. Over 330 miles per hour. Not tested, not verified. But based on Koenigsegg's internal simulations and aerodynamic calculations, the Jesco Absolute was theoretically capable of surpassing a speed barrier almost nobody thought realistic for a road car. And the timing made the announcement feel even more dramatic. Just months earlier, Bugatti Chiron Supersport 300 Plus had broken the 300 mph barrier.
$3 million Bugatti Chiron. The new Bugatti Chiron is designed to get your attention, but you'd better look fast.
With a 304.773 mph run at Era Lessien in Germany. But controversy followed immediately. Critics pointed out the run was completed in only one direction, meaning it did not qualify under traditional two-way production car speed record standards. Then Bugatti stepped away from the speed war entirely. That's what made Koenigsegg's move feel so strategic. Christian von Koenigsegg never attacked Bugatti publicly. He never mocked the Chiron. He simply unveiled a car seemingly designed to push far beyond it and let the industry draw its own conclusions. For nearly 4 years afterward, Koenigsegg dominated the conversation around ultimate speed. Meanwhile, Bugatti transitioned into a new era under Mate Rimac, culminating in the 2024 reveal of the Bugatti Tourbillon. But the Tourbillon focused on something different: hybrid engineering, naturally aspirated emotion, and design philosophy, not outright top-speed records. And in the hypercar world, people noticed. And to understand why Koenigsegg could keep winning like this, again and again, you have to go back 26 years, to a Swedish garage where it all began. Koenigsegg innovation instructor Christian von Koenigsegg was only 22 years old when he founded Koenigsegg Automotive, driven by a single idea that seemed almost unrealistic at the time: to build the fastest production cars on Earth. He had no major automotive background, no legacy factory, and no established investor network. What he did have was a radical level of independence and a belief that true performance could only come from complete control over engineering. While Ferrari and Lamborghini were already global symbols of performance, and Bugatti was preparing its modern rebirth under the Volkswagen Group, Koenigsegg started in near isolation in Ängelholm, Sweden. The company's early years were defined by struggle. Prototypes failed. Funding was unstable. In 2003, during early production of the Koenigsegg CC8S, a factory fire destroyed critical equipment and nearly ended the company. Yet instead of shutting down, development continued, often with limited resources and extreme improvisation. One of Kegg's most important advantages emerged from this struggle: structural freedom. Unlike large automotive groups that rely heavily on external suppliers, Koenigsegg chose to design and manufacture most components internally. Engines, carbon fiber monocoques, transmissions, and even advanced systems like their hollow carbon wheels were developed in-house. This vertical integration became the foundation of their innovation speed. In contrast, Bugatti's engineering under Volkswagen Group represented a very different philosophy. The development of the Bugatti Veyron, led under Ferdinand Piëch, required massive coordination across multiple subsidiaries. It is widely documented that the project ran at extreme cost and complexity, but it resulted in a historic milestone: a production car exceeding 1,000 horsepower and later surpassing 400 kilometers per hour, redefining what was possible for road cars when it launched in 2005.
After 4 years of painstaking work, the Veyron was finally released in 2005.
Koenigsegg, however, was evolving in a different direction, setting a production car's speed record. The achievement was not just about speed. It highlighted how a small Swedish manufacturer could directly challenge giants using faster engineering cycles and unconventional design philosophy. Technologies like the Regera's direct drive system, which eliminates a traditional gearbox, and free valve technology, which replaces camshafts with fully electronic valve control, further demonstrated Koenigsegg's willingness to rethink fundamental automotive systems rather than refine existing ones. As the industry moved toward electrification and hybridization, Bugatti transitioned into a new era under the Bugatti Rimac partnership, unveiling the Tourbillon with a hybrid V16 concept that marked a clear shift away from the pure W16 top-speed era. Meanwhile, Koenigsegg revealed the Jesco Absolute, a car designed through simulations for extreme aerodynamic efficiency and theoretical speeds beyond 530 km/h. In the end, this was never just a rivalry between two brands. It was a contrast in philosophies, one built on scale and corporate engineering, the other on speed of thought and complete creative control. This is the part of the hypercar world no press release will ever properly explain. A small Swedish company, built from a garage and pure obsession, has pushed performance to a level that forced the entire industry to rethink what's possible. No legacy advantage, no shortcuts, just engineering pushed to its absolute limit. And now the question is simple. Did Koenigsegg redefine hypercars, or did it expose the limits of everyone else? If you want more deep dives like this, raw, detailed, and behind the marketing, subscribe to the channel for more stories from the world of speed.